Alright, so y'all been seeing these iceberg videos around, yeah? I decided to make one because I wanted to. That's literally it. Okay, let's explain some stuff before we get out of the way. Shin Megami Tensei is a JRPG franchise with a ton of games that no one probably cares about. Because in other places it's called the Megami Tensei franchise, yada yada yada. There will be multiple press turn icons. 3 press turn icons means I know what I'm talking about. 1 red press turn icon means I don't know what I'm talking about. It's a bit complicated, I think you'll find out later within the video. Also, I want to give major shoutouts to this person right here on screen. I'm not even going to try to pronounce their name, but shoutouts to them for making the whole iceberg image. This video would have not been made without their help. I'll be linking their Tumblr page in the link in the description below. Alright, so y'all cool? Let's do this. A popular fan theory shows that Hijiri from Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne is the reincarnation of Aleph from Shin Megami Tensei 2, where Aleph is cursed with the eternal suffering at the hands of Yahweh because he killed him at the end of Shin Megami Tensei 2. The woman in black sort of supports this by saying that Hijiri is being punished by a great will for an unspecified crime. The crime being that he killed Yahweh. Personally speaking, I don't believe this theory, as there's lots of points that just don't seem right. There's also a video made by LaRue that debunked this whole theory, and I'd recommend you guys to watch that. I'll put a card up top of the video. Featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series is a sticker that's put on the front cover of Shin Megami Tensei 3 Lucifer's Call, as that's what it's called in European territories. It has sort of become an infamous meme within inside and outside the fandom of Shin Megami Tensei. A picture of Cosmo Kaneko that's shown him in a flower field. This was found in the Persona 2 guide. I don't know which Persona 2 guide, as it doesn't specify, but it's in there. In Nocturne, a Dekarabia is found in Shibuya waiting for the Fornius, the first boss in Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. You kill the boss in the Shinjuku Medical Center earlier in the game, and their friendship has been referenced in other Megami Tensei games since, including a fusion spell called Best Friends in Persona 3. One word God rejected is supposedly what the Fierce Battle lyrics are saying, but it's kinda hard to make out due to the effects applied to it. As part of a deal to use Dante in Nocturne, Cosmo Kaneko was brought on to design the devil triggers for Dante and Virgil in Devil May Cry 3. Okay, so some comedians love to bring up the fact that these demons are designed after specific reproductive organs. There's Mara, which is the most infamous example of this, mainly due to his shape and size. Matador is an infamous boss in Nocturne, known for its sudden difficulty spike for new players in the series, and it's a way to teach players to use buffs and debuffs, as the boss is near impossible to kill without actually using any buffs and debuffs. It also filters out the casuals. A line from Shin Megami Tensei 1 that shows up when the player interacts with their dog Pascal in their house has sort of become a meme within the fandom. And Nocturne introduced the idea of the Mala network, a connected web of different realities and timelines that sort of shows the whole disconnected nature of the entire mainline Shin Megami Tensei series. Megami Tensei Demon Alice is taken directly from C.S. Lewis's Alice's Wonderland. The Shin Megami Tensei Alice Demon is an amalgamation from both C.S. Lewis's book and the Scandinavian folktale with a similar backstory. Due to the lack of a concrete backstory and mythological relevance, most of the characteristics are entirely original to the Shin Megami Tensei series. In Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei, Nakajima summons a Cerberus, who is described as a one-headed lion with a scaled tail. Since Shin Megami Tensei started out as an adaptation of the original story written by Ai Nishitani, this design was carried over into future Megami Tensei games as a long-term callback. In New Game Plus of Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, if the player does the optional boss rush in the Labyrinth of Mala, they get access to a pair of graves on the basement floor which belong to Izanagi and Izanami, who will give demi-fiend an extra press turn permanently. The female protagonist of Shin Megami Tensei If, Tamaki Uchida, appears in Persona 1 and 2, connecting Persona 1 and 2 to Shin Megami Tensei If. While Odin has frequently appeared with the purple cape design in nearly every Shin Megami Tensei game until Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse with his new redesign, he has a unique design for soul hackers that has never appeared in any other game since. Mara is actually depicted as a female in Strange Journey, however she uses the old man personality when talking to the player, and in Strange Journey Redux even uses the old man voice sound bank.
Oh?
Shin Megami Tensei 4 had a variety of DLC demons that were available for purchase. The DLC demons include a recolor of Napier, a recolor of the Minotaur, a recolor of Chemtrail, and a recolor as Modius. And original demons such as the Ancient of Days, Sanat, Raphael, Michael, Gabriel, Rio, and Masakato's Shadow. Skathat's face is cold and unmoving, implying that it may be a mask of some sorts. Since there's no real facial animations in the mainline series, it has yet to be confirmed nor denied. In the files of Shin Megami Tensei 1, there are unused sprites of Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse wielding a chainsaw and a pair of knives, respectively. They are most likely meant for the Tokyo Destinyland dungeon, but were dummied out due to fear of a lawsuit. They're implemented with different sprites on the PC version, however, and even have official art made of them and what they're supposed to look like. In Shin Megami Tensei 2, there are a handful of demons based on horror movies and different pieces of media, one of which being a demon Beetlejuice, based on the character Beetlejuice from the titular film. Between 97 and 04, there was a Megami Tensei trading card game called Digital Devil Story. These were never brought to the stateside, but there has been recent fan effort to archive and translate the cards. I'll put another video up top made by LaRue that goes into detail about this card game. In Cosmic Conoco's artwork Pandemonium Volume 3, there's an unused redesign for the main villain of the Persona 2 duology, Nyarlathotep. Cosmic Conoco drew art of Queen Frost for the SMT Devil Children card game, which hasn't been in any official mainline game. There are a number of manga adaptations for the Megami Tensei franchise. Some of those are the demons that appear outside of the self-contained manga stories, an example being Claren from Rado Kuzunoha vs. the Lone Marabito. There's a popular urban legend surrounding Shin Megami Tensei 1, where if you reset the game enough times, the screen will be flooded with the message saying "turn it off" in Japanese. In the PC Engine port of Shin Megami Tensei 1, there is a unique demon known as Crusader, representing the soldiers of the Crusades. Due to his skeletal design, many assumed the Crusader were planned to be a fiend, which was confirmed to be the case in the art book. Satan's design in SMT2 has 6 arms, 6 beasts, and 6 wings, in references to the number 666 or the mark of the beast. Hellbiker's helmet is very inconsistent, appearing and disappearing on his head with every appearance. Since Ifrit and Indrajit are palette swaps of SMT demons, DX2 is the first time they had any kind of official artwork. An April Fool's joke made by Tumblr user, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, depicted the Kool-Aid Man as a demon in Strange Journey. If you enter the password into a copy of Strange Journey for DS, you get a level 1 slime with Ice Boost, Fire Boost, Gun Boost, Electric Boost, Recovery Boost, and Wind Boost. The vocals to Nocturne's battle themes are quote-unquote sung by a text-speech program for the Mac OS called Plain Talk, more specifically the voice preset using Albert.
I have a frog in my throat. No, I need a real frog.
In the early stages of Shin Megami Tensei 4's development, there was an idea to extract demon DNA to confer bonuses to demons during fusion without taking up a skill slot. While this feature was removed, it sounds very similar to the trait system used in Persona 5 Royal. There was a plot in Shin Megami Tensei 3 version A, an alpha build tech demo of Nocturne, which the demi-fiend has to side with either Ana or Amaterasu and defeat either goddess. During the development of SMT1, a staff member's house was robbed. Afterwards, the dev team went to the Masakado Shrine to pray, and this has become a tradition between each development of each new mainline game. The Game Boy Advance ports of Shin Megami Tensei 1 and 2 allow cross-game trading of demons using the link cable, dubbed the Halloween system and the Easter system. The Japanese Jewish Common Ancestor Theory, or the JJCAT, is a theory that one of the 12 tribes of Israel landed in Japan in the Japanese imperial line in the lineage of the gods chosen. This theory has been cited by Kazuma Kaneko, the series artist and creative director, and Yusuke Miyata, SMT4 Apocalypse's scenario writer, as influences on the series. Groove on Fight was a fighting game developed by Atlas in 1987. One of the fighters is Bristol D, a dark summoner and final boss of the game, who uses various Megaten demons in his special moves. In the PC Engine port of SMT1, the Scrap Donald and Mickey demons were implemented with brand new designs, as mentioned earlier. The Case of Dragon Slayer is the first novel of the Jiken series, a mystery novel series written by this person. The Case of Dragon Slayer is the first novel in the series, which had its cover art and various illustrations done by Kazuma Kaneko. A Bodhisattva is a person who is on the path to Buddhahood. Stephen has been stated by Kazuyuki Yamai, a producer of Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, to become a Buddha-like figure, since he is the same person who across multiple timelines in each game ascended to help the Messiahs battle Yahweh and the Great Will. Kazuma Kaneko would often change his demon designs before they were finished. Example can be seen on the cover to Kaneko Works Volume 1. which includes different designs for Lucifer and Baal, and Barrett's many designs in promo art in Nocturne. Bug is an enemy in Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei for the Famicom. If the player held left, right, A, and B at the same time on the second controller and pressed auto battle with the first controller while fighting Bug, a message will pop up saying Kabu-chan begins debugging. Cosmic Konako has done many works for a few Japanese mecha games, including 3rd Super Robot Wars Alpha, To the End of the Galaxy, and Super Robot Wars Alpha. In the infamously bad Megami Tensei game Rond, Muhammad supposedly appears as level 19 enemy demon. This is not confirmed, however, as there's barely any footage for Rond. Kokiri Hime was designed as a traditional heroine for Nocturne. Her role was unknown, however. This is mentioned in the Making of Nocturne documentary. In a piece of concept art for the demon Aya Ixtab, the stone mask from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Phantom Blood can be seen on its face. The skill Frikugo in SMT3 Nocturne is actually a localization name. The original skill name was Supreme Magic Bullet, which is translated in every Megaten game since as Rai Gun. Sparky is the name of an unused undead race demon design known simply as Sparky. It was a zombie strapped up to an electrical chair. In 1987, the Sega Saturn game Devil Summoner was turned into a live-action TV drama. The first 13 episodes were based on the Saturn game, and the other 13 in Season 2 were an original story. There has been no effort made to translate the series into English. In the Nocturne drama CD, there's a new character called Ryugo, who also gets turned into a demi-fiend by Lucifer. Cosmic Konako was interviewed in a gaming magazine about his personal life and interests, which makes an interesting fact that he illustrated the entire interview himself, which I'll leave a description to the full comic. The Shin Megami Tensei Tabletop RPG series is an SMT-themed tabletop RPG books released between 1998 and 2010. There has been no English translations of any of these materials. And of course I'm going to show LaRue's video on the Tabletop RPG if you want more info on that. An artist at Atlas who provided coloring to much of Cosmic Konako's promotional work from Devil Summoner onwards. The Baby Goldfish is a demon from SMT Imagine, which is an online MMO. The writing on Harold Seraph's fans is actually Hebrew, however it translates to gibberish. In the Megaten Maniacs book, released at the 25th anniversary edition of Strange Journey Redux, there's a list of unused bosses in the production of Strange Journey. These include Minotaur, Asmodeus, and Ashur. Some enemies in Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE are based off of movie monsters, including Nickelwise being Pennywise from It, Reagan from The Exorcist, and Samantha from Ringu. Tokyo Sabbath was the marketing campaign for Shin Megami Tensei 4 Final, in which people would gather demons and battle at locations around Tokyo. The contest was overrun with American players doing an organized front to beat some of the bigger cities in Japan. During an interview with Atlas, Shigenori Sojima made an offhand comment about wanting the last battalion of Persona 2 Innocent Sin comprised entirely of cute anime girls. You see, the reason why I'm in disappointment of this is because the last battalion is comprised entirely of Nazis. Never change, Tsujima. In Rag's shop in Nocturne, vocals can be heard in the background. These vocals are sampled from a 1999 Spanish film, La Lengua de las Mariposas, one of the samples being Dios no mata mucho, or God does not kill much.
Dios no mata mucho.
In Shin Megami Tensei 4, the DLC demon Sanat is described as a Hindu deity, but his compendium description and location in Tokyo point to a different interpretation in the Temple of Karamadera, where he is a Japanese deity known as the Defender Lord. While Maria has shown up in recent Shin Megami Tensei games as the Virgin Mary, in her first appearance in SMT9 she was created as an artificial AI by the Messians. In 9, she is a part of the Kojushin race, but in Strange Journey Redux, she is a part of the Megami race. The 2006 flip phone port of Megami Tensei 2 had an additional demon, Sutoku Tenno. Images of this demon, however, are hard to come across. According to Strange Journey Redux's credits, the new story elements were written by a Japanese company known as Mimi, who have also written for Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Kind of explains a lot for the story that was written. The Megaten Maniacs makes mention of several historical figures in some design documents for older games, besides Hitler of course. There are also mentions of Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan, Caesar, and Napoleon. Twitter user OtherM datamined DX2 when it was first released, and found a lot of demons that were in the data, include models for demon months before they were even added in. The names of certain demons such as Seraph, Makara, and among these being Gilgamesh, Nessie, and Tisafine. We use placeholder models from the developers and other projects. There is a remake of Shin Megami Tensei 1 made in RPG Maker. Only in Japanese, of course. Stay classy, Atlas. And that's it. That's the entire iceberg. This is pretty fun to make, but kind of tiring to do because this took me like 3 weeks to make. Watch my other videos. They're pretty good content. I'll make one more of these. Good night.